The tongue is such a little member, but it boasts greatly. See how a little fire kindles a great forest, and no man is able to tame the tongue. That's our Otiot study. Let's do it. Shalom, my friends. Today's study is on the Otiot. Concerning the English word we often see is the word tongue. And in the Aramaic Hebrew, that is lashone. You've heard me say lashone HaKodesh kadam many times. Lashone is the word for language. It's also the word for tongue. HaKodesh means dedicated to one only, and that is Elohim. Kadam is, to the east, back to the beginning, the way it was originally. And as you know, if you've been following along, my Otiot study is all about lashone HaKodesh kadam. Today, we're looking at just the word lashone, which we will see throughout the scriptures, front to back. In the English as the word tongue or languages. The very first occurrence of the word is in Bereshit, that's Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 5, which reads, "From these the coastland peoples of the nations were separated into their lands, everyone according to his lashone," everyone according to his language, according to their clans, into their nations. You'll see this word, like I said, throughout, wherever you see tongue or language or languages, you're looking at lashone or maybe a slight variation of that. In the Renewed Covenant books, we see this word in Acts chapter 2, verses 4 and 6, chapter 19, verse 6, chapter 11, verse 19, chapter 14, verse 11, 1 Corinthians, it's all over the place, 12:30, chapter 14, verses 13, 14, 18, 19, 23, 27, 28, 39, and on. We see it in the book of Marcos, chapter 7, verses 33 and 35, chapter 16, verse 17, in the book of 1 John, Yochanan, chapter 3, verse 18, in the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 64, chapter 16, verse 24, Romans 3:13, 1 Peter, that's Kepha, chapter 3, verse 10, and first, let's read from James chapter 3, that's Yaakov. Chapter 3, verses 5, 6, and 8. Verse 5 is, "So too the tongue is a little member, yet boasts greatly. See how a little fire kindles a great forest." Verse 6, "And the tongue is a fire, the world of unrighteousness. Like a forest among our members, the tongue is placed, the one defiling the entire body, and lighting on fire the course of generations, rolling from the beginning, and in the end is lit on fire itself." Yeshua said it's not what a man puts in his mouth, but what comes out of it that defiles him. He's talking about the tongue. Yaakov, chapter 3, verse 8, James, "But no man is able to tame the tongue. It is unruly, evil, filled with deadly poison." 1 Peter, that's Kepha, chapter 3, verse 10, "For he who was to love life and see good days, let him keep his tongue from evil, and his lips from speaking deceit. Let him turn away from evil, and do good. Let him seek peace and pursue it. Verse 12, because the eyes of Yahweh are on the righteous, and his ears are open to their prayers, but the face of Yahweh is against those who do evil. You know, I've always said, every word out of your mouth is a prayer. If you're walking around speaking, complaining, speaking negative things, complaining about things or situations or people, consider the fact that you're actually praying for that. Control your tongue, and you'll see a huge difference in your life. There's a great power in gratitude, speaking good things all the time, praising the Father. You know, praise is a powerful weapon against the enemy. Singing praises to the Father, even more powerful. But praising him and thanking him, that chases darkness away. Demons flee, they can't stand it. But gratitude, being grateful. We all have the opportunity of, being grateful or complaining, being happy or being miserable. It's an easy choice to make. I mean, if you got the choice all the time, and we all do all the time, no matter how bad it is, there's always something to be grateful for. Then why not be happy? And also, expressing gratitude, it changes things. So, let's take a look at lashone. The root word is lashone. Like I said, there might be some other variations here and there, but the root is lashone. That is lamed, shin, and nun. Lamed is the picture of a staff. Represents the leader and the teacher of the flock. It's a tool to protect and to steer the sheep. It's to yoke the sheep. It's to yoke us to Elohim. It represents discipleship. Then we have shin, picture of two front teeth. It's sharp, it's cutting. It divides things. If you're speaking words of praise and gratitude, you're dividing the darkness out of your life. If you're complaining and speaking words of darkness, you're dividing. You're sending the light out of your life. And then finally we have nun, picture of the seed. There's only two seeds in the world, good seed, the bad seed. Good seed is Yeshua, and the bad seed is Gadriel, Shaitan, Satan. The seed represents life, Chai, and it represents perpetual, unstoppable motion. It has to do with the offsprings and the heirs, either of Yeshua or Shaitan, good seed or the bad seed. Now, generally speaking, lashon, the word tongue or languages in the Father's Word, it's literal. It's talking about your physical tongue, or it's talking about people's languages. But when we look at the Otiot, lashon has to do with lamed, who your teacher is, who you are yoked to, who you are being steered by. And if that is the good seed Yeshua, you're being protected. If it's Shaitan and darkness, you're being destroyed, or you are destroying. Shin, the tongue cuts things and separates the light from the darkness. There's another scripture, the power of life and death is in the tongue, lashon. And then finally, nun, the seed, the offspring. If you're constantly speaking darkness, you are becoming an heir of Shaitan. If you're constantly speaking light, you are an heir of Yeshua. If you're in the Word all the time, if you have a strong prayer life, if you are yoking yourself to Elohim, to the Father, Yahweh, if you're pitching your tent with Elohim, you will find yourself more and more and more speaking light, positive things, gratitude, gratefulness, and so on. There's our study on the word for tongue, my friends, lashone. Very simple, very basic. And I hope and I pray that this video, this teaching, has been a berekah to you, my friends. Shalom.
There's a river, there's a field, both are givers, both will always yield. Ooh, and I have learned